So welcome to Gungahlin Enclosed for this round 15 PS4 MPL match between Gungahlin United and the FFA Centre of Excellence. It's getting to be crunch time in the local Canberra competition. I'm your commentator, Russ Gibbs, today. Joining me in the commentary box is Steve Forshaw from Belconnen United. Good afternoon, Steve. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah, looking forward to a good game. I mean, two teams that, for different reasons, have a lot to play for. Gungahlin looking to cement a place or get back into the top four, and the Centre of Excellence trying to win the minor premierships. They're still in the hunt for that. So looking forward to a decent game.
We've already had two, what you'd say, surprise results this morning. The under-18s Gungahlin United haven't won all season. I understand they won 3-0 today against the Canberra United Academy. And in the under-20s match we saw just a moment ago, finished 1-1. What chances of a third upset this afternoon?
Well, there's always a possibility. You know, if I was having a bet, I'm not a betting man, but if I was having a bet, I would bet my money on the Centre of Excellence. They're just a little bit better organised, a little bit more quality in their side. But football's a funny game. This pitch is not in great condition. That might be a leveller. And Gungahlin, like I was saying before, do have a lot to play for. So if there is to be an upset, it wouldn't be a complete surprise, but I do fancy the Centre of Excellence today.
Well, Gungahlin slipped down the table following yesterday's results when Tigers FC gained a 1-0 win at Riverina and Nicholas Abbott goal there, giving the Tigers the points, whereas Belconnen United were made to work all the way by Tuggeranong, winning 2-1, and a couple of goals from Jason Ugrinic, one from the penalty spot. That means the table, as we look at it, sees Canberra Olympic playing this afternoon on 34 points, the FFA Centre of Excellence, and then Belconnen both on 28, then Tigers and Canberra FC on 24, Tuggeranong and Gungahlin 22, everything to play for. We'll just run through the teams, starting with the home side in the yellow shirts today. Jason Denham in goal, four at the back, Osman Daramy, Jack Green, Regan Walsh and Tom Kirklich. Anthony Timotheo and Anthony Georgie and Mishko Namoski are the three in the central triangle. Yusuf Mohammed, Michael Ronaldo wide, Jason Oduwa up front. Plenty of pace in that team.
Plenty of pace up front and enough creativity in the midfield to cause the Centre of Excellence some problems. I do think Jenkins and Green are two of the better central defenders, so it's a strong Gungahlin outfit.
Jordan Griffiths is in goal for the FFA Centre of Excellence, who've kicked us off. Jeremy Saint, Kai Truan, Patrick Skibilio and James Fletcher are their back four. They have a midfield three as well, of Jay Barnett in the holding role, Luis Dorigo and Meled Ahmed up front, Ben Obst, Mirza Muratovic and Lachlan Brooks. Plenty of quality in that FFA Centre of Excellence as well. Yeah,
three local lads playing as well, three boys from Canberra. And I know that the staff at the Centre of Excellence speak very highly of Kai Truan, so I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes today. But they are a very good side.
Well, it's Gungahlin on the attack in the initial stages, and that is true. And what we're talking about over on that far side, concedes a throw early on. Good conditions here at Gungahlin Enclosed. It's a cool day, but the wind isn't blowing as harsh as it was last week.
Yeah, I mean, the conditions are quite benign. It's the pitch that leaves a bit to be desired.
Yeah, very hard pitch. We'll see if that makes a difference. Here's Walsh. Out to Kirklich, just skips past his man but loses possession, and the FFA Centre of Excellence can bring it forward, and this is the first touch of the afternoon in the centre of the park for that was Ahmed, I believe, and he's lost the ball, but he's overhit it in the middle. Just looking at where they're lining, it looks like Dorigo's gone into the holding role as we expected, in front of the back four for the FFA Centre of Excellence.
Yeah, I think both teams will play a very, very similar setup, with the 6 sitting a little deeper and 8 and 10 working in channels just behind the front three. There's nothing in what we've seen so far to suggest otherwise anyway.
Well, here's Green, and Timotheo goes back to Walsh. Spreads to that far side with Kirklich again. And that's helped on its way by Georgie, and a chance perhaps to get someone on the overlap. Thomas Kirklich playing at the right fullback position today. Usually likes to go a bit further forward, so we might see him advancing to support his front troops a bit later on. Here's Muratovic, looking to send the ball down the wing, and that's asking an awful lot of the overlapping Fletcher. I think that is that Fletcher over there? It might be Ben Obst, in fact, sorry. Long way away, over on that far side, aren't they, Steve?
Yeah, we're a long way from the pitch here, but good start from Gungahlin. They've actually looked to get forward using the pace of Ronaldo, and I think that's probably a reasonable sort of tactic. Mickey's been in good form in front of goals, and he does have the pace to trouble the back four from Centre of Excellence.
Ronaldo, one of the goal threats in this Gungahlin team. He'll look to get on the end perhaps of this free kick, which is aimed up towards Oduwa, but it's overhit and it's going to go all the way through to Jordan Griffiths in the FFA goal. Here's Dorigo. Now Obst, nice turn. Ahmed looking to get Jeremy Saint on the ball out wide, but a little nudge in the middle of the park there, and a free kick to the FFA Centre of Excellence, who need a win today to keep the pressure on Canberra Olympic. Canberra Olympic have a home match against Woden Western at O'Connor this afternoon, while Canberra FC play Monera Panthers at Deakin. So chance of both those teams to close the gap, and for Olympic to increase their lead at the top of the table should Gungahlin get a result here today, Steve.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's so much to play for yet in the competition. I think most teams would rather be where Olympic are at the moment if they had choices, but it's not over, but not by a long shot.
We'll try and keep you up to date with both those matches this afternoon as we get results coming in throughout the day. Here's Walsh, and Timotheo finds Kirklich. He takes on Obst and sends that one down into the channel for O'Dwyer to chase, but Kai Truan's got that one covered. And the FFA Centre of Excellence will start from the back with Scibilio. So no goals in either of the games at the moment, just kicked off, of course. Here's Griffiths. It's a good ball over the top, looking for the run of Saint. The fullback who's gone forward, and there's good defending at the back by Green. Jack Green, big part of this Gungahlin team, Steve, and if he plays well, they tend to go all right.
Yeah, he offers so much to this team. I mean, he's a good organiser at the back, very strong defender, but he's also got, or represents a threat from set pieces when they do get into the opposite, in the opposite penalty area. Without Jack, they're a different side. There's no doubt he has a big influence on this group.
He's going to have a big game this afternoon, you feel? Plenty of pace, as we said, in this FFA team. Young side. Here is Green. Sends that one forward towards O'Dwyer and Ronaldo, but Truan's going to win it. Picked up by Georgie. Kirklich. Georgie again. Good little ball to Ronaldo. Bit of space for the winger to work in. Can he pick the ball into the air? O'Dwyer's in there as well. Could have left that one run perhaps to Nomoski, but decided to take ownership himself, and Dorigo snaps in and takes it off his heels. And here comes the FFA with Obst. Scibilio. Good pressure by Mohammed from this near side. So he comes to Truan. And they're giving the ball away here, the FFA. Good hassling by Gungahlin. And they'll try and start at the back. Marcel Munoz has got them playing some good football this season, Steve. They've been trying to keep possession as well as they can and create something on the break. Here's Daramy to Mohammed. And a good battle down in front of us here, and both sides trying to play some football. Yeah,
I think that's right. I think at the beginning of the season, most people would have had Gungahlin struggling, but they've been, if you like, the surprise packet this year, and they do play a very attractive brand of football. They're pressing very high today. Certainly when we get into midfield third or mid-third territory, they want to be winning the ball back as high as they can. And the Centre of Excellence are well known for the quality of their football. So we can look forward to a decent game, but the pitch is having an impact.
Yeah, we were here last week, of course, the women's MPL, and that was a very hard surface there, and we haven't had much rain in the week either. So here's Fletcher on this near side, and Osman Daramy gets in to the tackle and lets Fletcher know he's around. Nothing wrong with that in the early parts of the games. Promising fullback James Fletcher, local Canberra boy. He'll take this throw. Not much movement forward for him, so he has to go to Muratovic. This is Brooks. His ball infield is snuffled out by Regan Walsh. And the FFA bring it back again. That's a late challenge on Ahmed, but the referee thought for a minute he was going to let that one go, Steve, but niggly foul there. Now hopefully get on with it quickly, they look to. Neither side been able to impose themselves on it just yet. No real chances of note. Here's Ahmed, busy in midfield. But it's noticeable that the press is pretty good from both sides.
Absolutely. I mean, the Centre of Excellence will do this for 90 minutes. One of their real strengths is their ability to play at high intensity for long periods, and they'll press every opportunity that they get. Gungahlin haven't been second best in the same thing, in the same tactic. They've actually worked really hard in these opening few minutes.
We'll see whether or not the full-time boys of the FFA have that extra fitness that we may expect them to have before the end of the game. They should be able to keep this press up a little bit longer than the part-timers from Gungahlin. Here's Fletcher winning the ball back to Brooks. Now Dorigo, but he's overhit that one, and that's going to be a Gungahlin ball. The referee today is Luke Withell, very experienced Canberra official, and his assistants are Georgia Girardello and Jay Lyris, a couple of promising assistant referees. And Luke Withell's been around a fair bit, Steve, and he knows the game inside out here in Canberra. Yeah, well known to everybody in Canberra, Luke. I think he's done 2 or 3 of the local games since his return from A-League duties. And experienced referee, like you say, should be able to control this. Well, at the moment he's given a couple of free kicks, but nothing else. And here's Saint looking for a run of obst. Walsh is going to go across and get there first, though, and uses Denham. Talking of experience, he's been around for a long time, Jason Denham. Talk him up, and then he kicks the ball out of play. But we did spoke about Jason Denham last time we covered Gungahlin United. His brother was a good keeper as well, and runs in the family. Absolutely. I mean, Nathan played with the Belconnen Blue Devils in the old New South Wales top leagues when Belconnen were in that comp, and he was one of the better keepers then, and there's nothing changed. He's still going strong, I think, with Sutherland. Yeah, and Jason down here, former Panthers goalkeeper, and I've been entrenched between the sticks at Gungahlin for a few seasons. So at the moment, no score in the early stages of this match. And here's Georgie looking to change that. Good turn of pace. But it's overhit the ball to this near side. And there'll be a throw into the FFA Centre of Excellence right in front of us in this main stand. As I said, we're a long way back at the top here. Decent view of the whole pitch. It's up towards Muratovic with a battle with Green. And that could be a free kick, and it is. Fletcher looks to go early. He's got Barnett just inside him. And gets it back with a 1-2 from Dorigo. It's Muratovic. And that's a thumping challenge from Dorigo and Daramy. And it's going to break for Timotheo. Here's O'Dwyer. And Gungahlin start again at the back. Ronaldo pokes it up the line, but there's no one there. And at the moment, Steve, neither side able to influence the game with the way they want to. No, both sides working hard, and they're cancelling each other out at the moment. The team that can settle better, get the foot on the ball and just start moving it around is likely to be the winner. At the moment, both teams just cancelling each other out and could go either way. Well, Truan flicks that one back to his keeper and gets it back off Griffiths. Up towards Dorigo, just flicks it on. It was Brooks, rather. It's Domofsky, straight into the face of Jay Barnett. Fletcher. Now Ahmed. Nice quick feet from Melid Ahmed. But back comes Domofsky to try and win the ball and succeeds in doing so. And Mohammed is in there with Timotheo to find Daramy. And a late challenge there by James Fletcher and a free kick. Good decision by the referee. But it's at the moment, Steve, as I said, it's very helter-skelter. Yeah, a bit scrappy. Not much football being played at the moment. But this is purely and simply because they're putting so much pressure on each other. It'll settle down and we'll get some football. But really impressed with the start by Gungahlin. Of both teams, they've been, I think, the more settled of the two. Well, it's Ahmed who's been busy early on, but he's given that one away. Fletcher having to win it back off Mohammed, but he can't. Here's O'Dwyer to Mohammed into the penalty area, and that's good defending back by Skabilia. But Mohammed's still going, and he's battling with the central defender from the FFA Centre of Excellence, who does well to get rid of it. Now Lewis Dorigo, bit of space for him. No real pace to get it forward, though. He's quite happy to settle and wait for the runners. Here's Obst. It's a bit short, and Mohammed goes in, and that's a bit of a late challenge, and we could see the first card of the afternoon here for this one. 50-50 there, Steve, and Mohammed went in with the studs up, but I think he genuine attempt to get the ball. Yeah, I don't think there's anything malicious in that, but there has been contact, and Luke Withell quite correctly blew up for the free kick. No need for anything further in terms of a sanction. It's a good decision. It looked probably worse than what it actually was. Here's Obst. We still wait for the first goal here, and we still wait for the first goal, I believe, in the other two games as well. Still 0-0 at Canberra Olympic and Woden, and Canberra FC and Monero. The two results from yesterday, as I mentioned, Riverina Rhinos 0, Tigers 1, Belconnen 2, Tuggeranong 1. And the last time these two met, was in round 6, and the FFA Centre of Excellence won 4-2 that day, even though they were reduced to 10 men, with Patrick Scabilio, who was on the end of that challenge a moment ago, was sent off in that one. So there's goals. The last time they met, we're expecting goals this afternoon. No real chances of note just yet, but I'm sure they'll come. Here's Namoski. Finds Daramy. He's got Mohammed ahead of him. Fletcher's checked his run quite well and does the defensive duties. There's no free kick there. And the boys just flick forward from Brooks. And here's a break now for Ahmed in the middle of the park. And he can find Obst space out wide. But the ball bobbles up on him and he has to take a touch and come backwards to Jeremy Saint. Now Barnett. And Obst, a nice triangle. But still no forward momentum ready for the FFA team. So they go back to Truin. Happy to start again, as you'd expect. There's no movement ahead of him, really, and that looks well offside. And Muratovic, and look a bit sluggish at the moment, the youngsters. Yeah,
they certainly haven't hit the straps, and I think they're a possession-based team. They like to keep possession, but at the moment, they're not getting the movement out of the front three that they might expect. They're not getting the forward runs. I mean, we've just seen an example where the run came a little bit late, but then went into an offside position. But I think they've got to do a little bit more of that, be a little bit more positive in possession and try and turn Gungahlin round. And you might argue that the same thing has to happen for the home team.
Yeah, they haven't really threatened Jordan Griffiths' goal just yet. Here's Brooks. It's a bit lucky off Ahmed there, but that's a better ball to Obst. And his idea was right, but he's overhit the ball and it's gone straight through to Denham in goal. And he'll start us underway again with Walsh. Herein there's been a goal at O'Connor, and it's gone to Canberra Olympic. They lead 1-0, and that's cementing their position at the top of the table. Try and bring you a goal scorer if we can get one in a moment. Here's Mohammed. He's lost possession. That's good tracking back, and now here's Barnett. And Truin. Ronaldo goes to put the pressure on him. And the FFA work it out nicely to this near side, where Fletcher has got a pocket of space in which to run forward. He'll take on Mohammed, not shy of getting forward James Fletcher. And this is a good run. Skips past 2 or 3 challenges within shooting distance, but treads on the ball at the end there. Unfortunate for the youngster, because it was a good surging run forward. And there's a bit of space on this side now for Marco Ronaldo to go into. Jeremy Saint's gone across to track him back, but Ronaldo's got the better of him, and he can charge towards the penalty area. And he's still going, Ronaldo. He's got options in the box. One of them's O'Dwyer, and he can't quite get his toe on the end of it. And it flashes across the face of the goal, and we'll go out for a throw-in on this near side. But what a ball that was from Ronaldo. Yeah,
best moment of the match for both teams. What a great run from Ronaldo. What has been noticeable is the speed of the transition from the centre of excellence. It's a lot quicker than Gungahlin's, but on that particular occasion, Mickey Ronaldo, using his own speed, managed to get in behind and whip the great ball then across. A bit unlucky not to get the first goal.
Yeah, Dwyer was inches away from getting on the end of it, made the right run, couldn't quite get there. Now he's opening up a little bit now as Obst tries to get hold of it, and unfortunately for the winger, that's the second time in the space of minutes that the ball has bobbled up on him on this surface. But danger signs at both ends, and it's looking like, Steve, that it's opening up a bit. We might get some more goal-mouth action.
Yeah, let's hope. Both teams capable of scoring, of course. Centre of excellence have the best defensive record in the competition, if I remember correctly. But Gungahlin have been scoring in their run when they had put 3 or 4 wins together. They were scoring quite regularly and quite frequently. So you can see goals coming.
Dwyer did well to win that back. Here's Georgie. Comes to Namoski. Now Daramy. And it gets nicked by Brooks, but I thought for a moment that Wither was going to play the advantage, but he lets the game go via a free kick from Georgie, who gets it back. Looking to find a ball down this near side to Namoski, but he's not played that exactly where he wants it, and Fletcher's read it. And here's Barnett. Now Ahmed. Now Brooks, space on this near side. A couple of runners ahead of him. Muratovic is one of them. Gets it into his feet and a chance perhaps to turn, but there's good shadowing by Walsh. And in the end, the move comes to nothing. Jack Green showing all his experience to pick that one out and bring it forward. And picks a lovely ball too to Namoski, who could switch play. Tracking back his Obst, and that's good energy from Obst. Now he can go the other way, and getting a bit of end-to-end stuff now.
Mishko Namoski should have done better there. Jack Green, lovely break out of the back forward, lovely pass in, and Mishko just not aware of what's happening around him, and then under hits a pass and puts him in, and loses possession, puts him under pressure.
And as we've seen, the FFA quite happy to keep hold of the ball. Here's Saint. Back to Truin. settled in well in the centre-back role today. Kai Truin, in the absence of Joel King and Jacob Italiano, two of the FFA boys at the under-20s. And Kai Truin normally plays as a 6, but looks quite comfortable in that centre-back position. And could go a long way in the game. Yeah,
well, like I was saying earlier in the broadcast, that they've got a very high opinion of him. And I think a 6 that can play 6 well transitions into 3 or 4 quite easily. I think it's, of those changes of positions, it's one of the easier ones to make.
And he's certainly doing it today. Looks comfortable on the ball. Here's Mohamed, shadowed by Fletcher, and Ahmed's come across. He's been the busiest player, I think, on the park, Meled Ahmed. He's a bundle of energy, the midfielder. Here's O'Dwyer. That's a great play from Jason O'Dwyer on the chest and then the head to get away from Skibilio. Can he pick out the cross? Not on this occasion. Did well to bring it down in the first place and turn his man, but in the end the delivery not quite what he wanted.
No, I mean, onto his left peg, and with the whole penalty area there, we end up with a goal kick. So he'll be a little bit disappointed with his delivery, but like you say, did well to get into a good spot. Noticeably, they didn't get a lot of players into the penalty area, so they're obviously just a little reluctant to commit players forward.
That was going to be my question to you, Steve, is when your number 9 is coming out here to do that, you need someone obviously to fill in, and the natural one should be the 10, I guess, but Mishka Namoski, maybe back in the day, hasn't quite got the pace these days to perhaps fill in on that role, and that's a horrible touch in the middle of the park and the first corner of the afternoon.
Yeah, the over-reliance on playing out from the back will sometimes lead to mistakes like that.
And Steve's getting a phone call while he's getting... Obviously didn't tell his fans he was on the Bar TV Sports this afternoon.
But yes, once the 9 vacates that sort of central role, you've got to have somebody that takes his place, and it can come from midfield or it can come from wide on the other side of the park. But on that occasion, it didn't happen at all.
The corner is deep and it's volleyed goalwards rather spectacularly in the end by Marco Ronaldo, but he's out of pace. And here comes Brooks. Huge amount of space on that far side if he can find the pass, but he's overhit it. And that's a shame for the FFA, because at the 2 runners, Luis Dorigo and Ben Obst, were both in there as they stretch Gungahlin. But it's come to nothing. Denham smashes that forward to O'Dwyer. Here's Ronaldo, who switched wings with Mohamed, trying to get the better of Fletcher, and he has done on this side. Here's O'Dwyer. His pass is picked up by Namoski via a stray FFA boot, and it's just hacked clear in the end by Luis Dorigo. Green helps it back on its way, and it's going to fall for Jay Barnett, whose wonderful first-time ball that is, into the path of Brooks. Now here's an opportunity. He's got Muratovic coming in across the 6-yard box. He could get there first, but good defending by Regan Walsh, and a lovely ball from Barnett to set that move up, and a good ball across the area.
Yeah, lovely move forward, and great defending from Regan Walsh. Covered well, made sure that they didn't concede. Fantastic defending, great move forward.
It was a great ball across the face of the 6-yard box, like we saw at the other end here. And on this occasion, Regan Walsh defends really well and doesn't panic in that situation, concedes the corner, which will be swung in by Dorigo. Knocks it towards the far post. The runner's coming in is Truin. Green wins it though, and it's O'Dwyer who helps it clear. Noticeable switch of wings here, Steve. Marco Ronaldo's come across his near side to have a go at James Fletcher, and Mohamed has flicked across to the far hand side. I'll ask you about that in just a second, as Skibilio has it, and it's a foul throw. So we can talk about that now. It's an interesting tactic early on.
Yeah, it's a fairly normal or standard rotation. Give the wingers a chance to run at both fullbacks. Ronaldo's had some joy down the right-hand side, and Mohamed, as you were saying earlier, has been a busy player up front for him. So, you know, let's have a look and see how they go against different fullbacks. And I'm pretty sure that Munoz, the Gungahlin coach, will be asking Mickey Ronaldo to get at the young Canberra boy that's playing fullback for the Centre of Excellence.
Yeah, he was having some joy on the far side against Jeremy Saint. So it's a early switch. Here's Namoski. And Timotheo just rather stabs at that one, and Saint is going to pick it up, but under pressure. He's still going. Now Fletcher. Room to move for Fletcher, and his passing field, though, is a bit misdirected, and it's easily picked up and cleared away by Tom Kirklich. And now here's a bit of space for Anthony Georgie. And now here's Mohamed, the first time we've seen him on that side. Lots of players forward, but huge gulf in midfield there at one stage, Steve. There's 4 or 5 yellow shirts flashing forward, but no one out here on this near side. Here's Fletcher. looking for a runner, and it's Brooks who heads it downwards. And it's just nodded out of play on this near side. And midway through the first half in this match here at Gungahlin Enclosed, PS4 MPL football, Gungahlin United 0, FFA Centre of Excellence 0 live on Bar TV Sports. Still waiting for the first real goalmouth action. Neither keeper's been forced to make a save just yet. Maybe this is the moment as Ahmed finds Obst. Chips it over the top, and it's going to come to Brooks, but Daramy's got him in his sights. Standing him up. Good defender, Osman Daramy, and he didn't look in any trouble there whatsoever. No,
I mean, he did really well one-on-one. He's bought them some time. First principle of defending, I guess, is to delay. He did that, then he got a foot in. Good defending, good play.
Yeah, high hopes for Osman Daramy as well. Had a good season at Tigers as well before he came here. And another good quality central fullback. So still no score here. The goal for Canberra Olympic was scored by one of the Bobulus boys. We're not sure which one though, either Tim or Nick. So my guess is Nick with a header.
I'll go the other way. I'll say Timmy back post header.
So I'm sure we'll find out before the end of the day. Here's Fletcher. Tries to play it infield and he finds the touch, and that's nicely played by Brooks, who tried to give him it back, but Daramy read it well. And they've given it away then again, and a chance for the FFA to come back once more. Here's Brooks. Patient build-up. Here's Barnett, and that's a good little ball too. And he's found Obst, who's come off the other wing into this near side, and his pass infield towards Ahmed was picked out by Georgie, and that's a bit loose, and Saint goes in, and it's all a bit ragged again until Mohammed brings it down on the halfway line. Now he wants to run at Truan, but Truan has got this one very well covered.
Noticeably after 20 minutes or 25 gone, that the midfield of Gungahlin are just starting to drop off the pace a little bit. Maybe the fast start when they were pressing really hard is just taking a little bit more out of them.
Yeah, they need to be careful. Here's Brooks, and Daramy's come across to beat him too. Good battle this one on this near side with Brooks and Fletcher against Daramy, and I think Osman Daramy will be wanting a little bit more support there defensively from Marco Ronaldo since he switched across his side, not really tracking the runner.
No, and it's dangerous because if the centre of excellence do get overloads down the wide areas, they're very good and they'll take advantage of it.
Mohammed tries to bring that one down, and Saint picks up the pieces. Now Truan facing his own goal, goes back to Saint. Plenty of room for him. But again, he picks possibly the wrong option, and Ahmed does well to ride the tackle and give him back. Now Barnett. And they'll start again with Truan, switches it to this near side. Plenty of space for Fletcher. What we were talking about just a moment ago, no tracking back from Ronaldo. Here's Dorigo, and that's a good ball into the space for Brooks. And the overhit cross in the end. But once more, good signs from the FFA Centre of Excellence, and I think Marcel Munoz will need a little bit more work from his midfield too on this near side.
Absolutely. I mean, you saw there a good example of Osman being caught in two minds, whether to go and close down or whether to stay, and was in no man's land when the ball was played on his inside shoulder. Better cross and they're in trouble.
Well, you're wondering whether or not it was Ben Obst causing issues the other way that prompted the switch to this near side. It's still causing them a few problems. Mickey Ronaldo, well known for his goal scoring in the lower grades, he is very, very good going forward. But that defensive thing is something he'll need to learn as he gets a bit older. His Obst into the channel. Walsh has gone across to cover him. It's tough sometimes with young strikers that want to go that way to actually teach them to come back, Steve. Yeah,
and it depends on what he's been asked to do as well, because one of the tactics that can be employed against the centre of excellence is to leave your two wide guys high. And it may well be that they need to drop somebody like O'Dwyer a little deeper and leave the two wide guys in higher positions and try and play them a little earlier.
Well, maybe that's what it is. Here's Ronaldo going the right way, and he'll take on Skibilio, and he's got good pace, and he's in here. Chance if he can find O'Dwyer on the far post. Skibilio gets a toe on it. It's going to drop for Demoski, who left-footed launches that one goalwards, and it was dipping, but Griffiths had it covered all the way. It lacked the pace, but I'd say that's the first shot on target in the match.
Must be close, yeah.
Here's Skibilio, who did well defensively there to get an ankle onto that one that was coming across the face of goal. Otherwise, O'Dwyer may have been in. Brooks has got in behind Daramy. Now here's a run for Muratovic, switches it to the far post. Obst comes in, but he can't get a hold of the volley. But danger signs at both ends.
Yeah, they're just starting to open them up a little bit down this right flank. Marcel Munoz is going to have to start thinking about what he does with Ronaldo on this side of the park. If he's not going to get into defend, then he's going to have to play, I think, with 2 holding midfielders.
Well, looking at the formation they've got here, it looks like they've got 2 up front at the moment. Maybe they've switched the formation a little bit to a 4-4-2, but we'll see as the game progresses. It's a superb bit of play from Muratovic, who pulls it back in towards the penalty, and Daramy gets across to defend well. It's going to ball for Skibilio, but Timotheo wins it. Here's Fletcher. 2 players come towards him, but he goes past Daramy. Still Fletcher, looking for someone to pass to, and he finds Brooks. Not much space for Lachlan Brooks, though. Second goal for Canberra Olympic at O'Connor. It's 2-0 now. And Canberra Olympic looking good to reassert themselves at the top of the ladder. That will put them on 37 points for today if they get up, and they're 2-0 up already, and that will put them a good, what would that be, 9 points clear of Belconnen and probably in pole position.
Yeah, you'd think so. I mean, with 3 games to go after this, and the form that they're in, you would, just about mark them down as the minor premiers.
Yeah, the FFA Centre of Excellence have a game in hand, but of course they'd need to win this one first, and that's not a given the way we're watching the match unfold at the moment. Here's Ronaldo. Did that one go out of play? It did. Unfortunate there, as O'Dwyer helped it on his way. Jason O'Dwyer's been busy this afternoon too. Here's Barnett and Fletcher. Skibilio. Good charging down from O'Dwyer again.
Yeah, what you get with Jason O'Dwyer is one solid effort. There is no doubt. He's a good, solid citizen. He'll work hard all day for you. And he is capable of getting on the score sheet. So he started well, so maybe with a little bit more confidence, a little bit more composure, they can find him and put him into a goal-scoring position, see if he can notch one for him.
No score here at Gungahlin enclosed. 2-0 at O'Connor. And rather surprisingly, it looks like after half an hour at Deakin, it's Canberra FC 0, Monero Panthers 0, which would be a bit of a shock, I guess you would say, although Canberra FC's recent form has not been great, Steve.
No, I mean, Monero's probably been worse, but they are struggling a bit at the Canberra FC. Well, you would expect them to win this one, but Monero got their first point last week, and maybe that's just a slight turn of a corner for them.
And Monero have previous against Canberra FC, of course, at Deakin. Won a shock game there a few years back that prompted a sacking of Robbie Graham, if I remember correctly.
I think that's right. I think the reasons given them were if you lose against a team that's at the bottom of the table, you don't deserve to keep your job, so he was gone.
Bit unfortunate for Robbie. Won every other game, I think, that season apart from that one. Harsh times at Canberra FC. I think Paul Evenich scored for Monero Panthers on that evening, if I remember rightly.
I think so, yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, I think Paul, of course, a long-time stalwart of the Canberra FC club, managed to, on his transfer, managed to put this old club under pressure. Happens
a lot in football. More often than you'd expect, to be honest. Still waiting for our first goal here, though. Not without chances. Half chances, though, they have been. Here's Dorigo. Now Barnett. Read by Timotheo. Now here's Georgie. Can be a game changer, Anthony Georgie. They probably need to get him on the ball a bit more often. Here's Timotheo. And Saint has to go back to his keeper. He's under hit that one, but Griffiths has got there. It's hit O'Dwyer, and it's just going to bounce wide of goal. Jeremy Saint under hit the back pass. Jason O'Dwyer industrious once again and nearly got some luck there, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a fortunate way to open the scoring, but that's what you get with Jason O'Dwyer. He works hard. He gets in where other people won't go. So really well done by Jason.
Intriguing battle here at the moment. We've got 12 and a half minutes or so, 2 half-times, still no goals. Here's Regan Walsh. Just seeing the ball out. And Stephen Dominici got the second goal for Canberra Olympic. Not much of a surprise there. Been full of goals this season, Stephen Dominici. As he is most seasons, to be fair.
Yeah, one of the better players in the competition. I read with some interest comments by Andy Burnell during the week that Dominici's probably the best player outside the A-League, not playing in the A-League. And whether that's true or not, I don't know. But he's certainly worth his his place in the Canberra team, any of the Canberra teams.
Here's Ronaldo striking the ball from distance, straight down the throat of Jordan Griffiths. So that's 2-0 to Canberra Olympic, with Stephen Dominici with the second goal. Off the back of their FFA Cup disappointment in the week, going down to Sorrento over in Western Australia. Good battle there from Frank Casia's boys, and he said afterwards he was particularly proud of the way they played, and a little bit unfortunate that their FFA Cup runs come to an end so early after last year's heroics, but the way they're going at the moment, you wouldn't bet against them being there again.
Well, certainly they can look forward to being in the NPL Challenge at the end of the season. I mean, it's not certain yet, but they will finish minor premiers, in my opinion. So they look forward to playing in another national competition, and they are the benchmark at the moment for the local comp.
Here's Green to take the free kick. Good switch of play towards Kirklich. And Walsh. And Georgie has to go back to Denham. They keep the ball nicely. Here's Daramy, and now a bit of space for Namoski to try and get across, and Skibilio comes to take it off him. And here's Brooks battling with Daramy. And does well, Lachlan Brooks. Back to Skibilio. Now Trewin. Beautiful stuff to open up a bit of space. But Saint goes down under the challenge of Mohammed, and no free kick there. And here's a chance perhaps for Kirklich to whip one into the penalty area towards the far post. Dwyer's coming in, and that's a great piece of defending by Patrick Skibilio to knock that one out for a corner.
Just coming back into it, you can noticeably there's a raised energy level with Gungahlin. They've had a couple of half chances whipped across the face, and another one there where they've got the ball into dangerous areas, and the defender's done really well to clear it.
Well, 10 minutes to half time, and they're going to have a corner here. And there's plenty of yellow shirts forward here. 7 in and around the penalty area. And Regan Walsh to come across to swing this one in. Noticeably everybody back from the FFA Centre of Excellence. And Walsh will look possibly for Jack Green in here, but that's a one towards a near post, and it fooled everybody, and in the end I think it was missed by Timotheo, and it's bounced off a defender for another corner. Yeah,
good variation. The run from Timotheo to the near post caught them all a little bit by surprise. They're going a little zonal, a little bit of a mixed zonal along the 6-yard box, and then man for man with the bulk of the Gungahlin players. So if they don't track runners, there's a chance that Gungahlin can get something out of this.
Well, what will Walsh do this time? This one's a bit deeper towards the far post, but it's flicked away again by the FFA Centre of Excellence. That was Jeremy Saint doing the defending. Dangerous looking ball from Regan Walsh in towards the penalty area. We did mention earlier that it was 4-2 the last time they played. It was 2-2 at half-time in that game, and Jack Green did score in that one, and Misko Namoski as well, just before half-time. So we know that these teams are full of goals when they play each other normally. Here's Ahmed. Barnett's got to be careful here. Goes back to Trewin. And he's under a bit of pressure from both O'Dwyer and Mohammed. And it's going to be a throw-in to Gungahlin. They're happy to play it around back there, Steve, and sometimes, though, it can cause them more problems.
Yeah, really, really good when it works, but they're inviting pressure on themselves at the moment, and from Gungahlin's point of view, that pressure's paying off. They don't look like conceding. They've got them pinned into their own half. They're picking up little pieces and little bits. They'll be delighted with the way the first half's gone.
Where's Mohammed? Ball swung in towards near post. O'Dwyer gets there. Must be a chance here, and it's hooked over the crossbar from Michael Ronaldo. O'Dwyer went in with Griffiths to win the ball. It fell for Ronaldo, and he couldn't quite get his foot over it. He was leaning back when he struck the ball, but possibly the best chance of the game, and he will be not happy with himself that he's not managed to get that one on target. Came at him pretty quickly, though, and it won't be the last chance he gets if he keeps putting himself into those positions.
No, it was a far more difficult chance than it probably looked from the sidelines. He's had to move backwards. He's taken it on the half volley. However, he did have an open goal, and he will be a little disappointed he hasn't hit the target.
To get into position, he read it really well. Here's Trewin. Credit to O'Dwyer as well for the challenge on Griffiths that created that opening. Here's Dorigo looking for the run of Muratovic, who's got goal side. Now here's a chance, but the flag is up late. And possibly offside by a couple of yards in the end. Yeah,
good decision by the linesman. Well placed. No problems there. But it's the sort of run that the Centre of Excellence need to be making from the front three.
And Kirklich ball forward was picked off by Trewin, but he couldn't keep it in play. So Gungahlin will have a throw, which Mohammed will take. And it was a bit of a dodgy one, and the referees pulled it up. Took them a while. They had to think about it and then decided that it was a foul throw. It's 2 foul throws in this game, which is not what you'd expect to see at this level.
You wouldn't expect to see it in under 10s.
The ball's going to break towards Georgie, but good defending by Skibilio, who gets rid of it. No real spark to this one just yet as we approach half-time. Needs someone to take the game really by the scruff of the neck and ignite it with a bigger skill if they can. Here's Obst, looking to do just that. Getting away from Georgie. Now here's Barnett. Chips it towards this near side. Daramy's come across and he's going to win that one and nod it into his own path. If you can keep this in, there could be trouble. But it's bounced off of Fletcher anyway, so it should be a Gungahlin ball, and they go quickly with Tunomowski. Daramy, Ronaldo. His ball forward though doesn't find O'Dwyer, and here come the FFA centre of excellence with Fletcher. Nemowski has a little niggle at him as he goes. Room for Dorigo, and lots of room for Obst. If he can bring this one down, is a chance. Ben Obst onto the left foot, looked to hack that one goalward, but it came off the side of the boot. But good ball from Dorigo, who's coming more into the game. Yeah,
some of the forward play has been good. I mean, the distribution and the break and the transition's been excellent. But a little bit of composure. We saw Ronaldo turn over possession deep into the centre of excellence because he wanted to play first time. And then we see Obst trying a difficult volley when he might have taken an extra touch. So a little bit of composure and have the courage to play. I mean, there's, at the moment it's all a bit frantic.
It's not really got going either. It's been a bit stop-start as the clouds form over the venue. Might get a spot of rain before this one's finished. Here's Dorigo to Ahmed. Now Barnett. Muratovic gets lucky when it comes back to him. This time Dorigo's pass isn't quite as good, and Jack Green can just send that one forward towards Mohamed, who will take on Saint. Turns him nicely. He's got away from him, but Truin has read that one once again superbly well. Concedes the throw. Five minutes to half-time here live on Bar TV Sports. Gungahlin United 0. FFA Centre of Excellence 0. Here's Walsh, right-footed, launches it into the area. Skibilio wins it. It's going to drop for Nomoski though. And he wants a free kick, but I don't think there's anything in that one whatsoever. And the break is on now for the FFA with Ahmed. Has to slow it down, looks for support. Dorigo's the one in possession. Muratovic. Now Ahmed can't keep his feet. He's going to get there eventually though. Saint. Back to Ahmed again. Now Barnett. And the movement has slowed down somewhat. But they still have possession with Fletcher. Goes past Ronaldo. But can't get past Timotheo, and it's O'Dwyer who sets Ronaldo in motion. Fletcher comes across, and this should be a good little battle. As a shirt pull there by Fletcher, and Withell's not seen that one.
No, could have been a free kick, couldn't it? But just noticeable again that when the centre excellence lose possession, they can get people behind the ball quickly, and Gungahlin aren't breaking as quickly as Munoz would have liked. It was a great opportunity then to get play forward, and they just dwelt on it a little.
Well, here's Green looking for an option, and in the end he's not picked out no one, and it's a chance perhaps for Obst. But back goes Kirkledge. Some really good individual duels out there. Steve Kirkledge against Obst on that far side is one of them. And in the midfield three, Timotheo and Georgie and Nomoski with Barnett, Dorigo and Ahmed. It's quite intriguing to see which way that's going to go at the moment.
Yeah, and at the moment it's a split decision because neither of the midfields has managed to get on top for any significant portion of the game. The wide guys from the centre of excellence looked like they were going to cause some damage earlier in the half, but that seems to have been sorted out. So yeah, like you say, difficult to see where the goal is going to come from and who might get on top in those battles.
It might open up in the second half, of course. Here's Griffiths. Skibilio. Now Fletcher. Skibilio again. That's a ball into the channel, which Muratovic is going to get after, but Green's come across. Do you think the FFA Centre of Excellence coaching staff will be a bit disappointed with the movement ahead of the back four?
Yes, I think so. I mean, we've looked at a couple of situations in the first half where they've been in control possession in midfield or even in the final third, and rather than try and penetrate, they've taken the conservative option and turned out and played backwards. Some of those passes have been misplaced. Some of them have just resulted in a change of possession through Gungalin's efforts, but I think they'll be looking to be a little bit more positive in and around that penalty area anyway.
It's a chance to be positive here as they have a free kick in the shadows of half-time. Under 2 minutes to go, Luis Dorigo is lining this one up. He's got Lachlan Brooks with him, but I don't think he's going to go short. It's going to be probably swung into the area. Not a great deal of height in the FFA Centre of Excellence team, but if he can drop this one into a dangerous position, there might be a chance for them to take the lead. He's got a good delivery as well, Dorigo. Let's see what he can do with this one. Swings it in. It's a good ball, and it's bounced off, and the header's goalward, and the flag's up, and it won't count. The flag is up for offside. I think once the initial header came in, it broke towards, I think it may have been Lachlan Brooks, and the flag was up there.
Yeah, offside, bit unlucky, but the Gungahlin defensive line was very, very deep, and if you're going to defend that deep, you don't give your goalkeeper a chance to come and deal with those sorts of crosses, and the movement can then become really, really dangerous.
So there wasn't a great deal of height there. You'd expect the Gungahlin defence to deal with that a little bit better than what they did on that occasion, but they got away with it. Here's Ahmed, now to Obst. Now Barnett, space again now for Ahmed, and Saint outside him on the overlap, who's going to win a free kick. Pretty much exactly the same position, but on the opposite side of the field as we come into the final 30 seconds of the half. No score here. They've gone short with it, which is interesting considering the problems they caused just a moment ago. Here's Trewin. Switch to the near side to Fletcher. Up towards Muratovic. Unless a thumping challenge from Daramy on Brooks is going to break towards Obst, but he's beaten to it by Green. Now Daramy. Now maybe a chance for Gungahlin. It's 4-on-3 momentarily, but Ronaldo has to go backwards. Not quite where he meant to play that one, I don't think, but Kirklich has got it. Now Timotheo. We're into stoppage time at the end of the first half. We're hearing of a goal at Deakin Stadium. Canberra FC leading Monero Panthers by 1-0. Big goal for them as well to keep them in the hunt for that top 4 spots. That won't go down particularly well here either, will it, Steve? Because with Gungahlin being close on the heels of Canberra FC.
That's right. I mean, as we were saying at the start of the game, Gungahlin need to win, but so do FC, to just make sure there's some breathing space between everybody that's competing for that 4th and 5th spot.
Yeah, just to confirm that the FFA Centre of Excellence, they can't take the lead. They can't. Oh, hang on a second. As Ronaldo gets inside, the defence shooting shot for Ronaldo, but he's hit it straight down. Griffiths, whose positioning was well. I said the FFA Centre of Excellence can win the Premiership, Steve, but they can't, the League Championship, but they can't qualify for finals.
That's right. So finishing 5th gives you an automatic berth into the semi-final series.
And there's 4 clubs still battling, you would think, for those 3rd and 4th place spots. One of them out here, Gungahlin, will be reasonably pleased with their first half effort as the half-time whistle goes, with no goals here at Gungahlin enclosed. And half-time at O'Connor is Canberra Olympic 2, Woden Western 0, and there's about a minute or so to go at the end of the first half at Deakin, where Canberra FC lead 1-0. But here, Steve, interesting game. Not a huge amount of goalmouth action at both ends, but the midfield's kind of having opportunities to create half chances you'd expect, but we want a little bit more from both teams in the second half.
I think we'll be looking for more in terms of quality. As I've harped on about, the pitch isn't in great condition, and that's certainly having an impact on the way both sides are playing. There's been half chances, little moments for both sides, but at the moment 0-0 is definitely a fair result.
Jordan Griffiths has probably been the busier of the keepers in terms of having shots to save. Neither of them troubled him too much. There was the Nomoski one from distance, which was a simple catch for him in the end, and that one at the end there where Marco Ronaldo got hold of it, but his positioning was very good. So probably more to do, but fair to say that neither side really deserve to be in front at the moment.
I 100% agree. It's been a scrappy game. It's been a game where the midfields have cancelled each other out. The defences are probably on top at the moment. There's not a lot of creative spark being exhibited by either team, and maybe as the players tire in the second half, we'll get more opportunities, more openings, and then it's a matter of who's good enough to take advantage of that.
Well, let's hope so, because at half-time here at Gungahlin enclosed in this round 15 PS4 MPR match in Canberra, it's Gungahlin United 0, FFA Centre of Excellence 0.
Not a bad game, this.
You're easily pleased.
You know what, Steve? If your side has ever played football like that, I will neck you.
Not that, but it's not great.
start of the season, they wanted capital reserves. Then they didn't have enough numbers for that. It was too hard, so they got to statement 1 and statement 2. Then they had to pull out the 2 because they didn't have numbers. And now he's playing on the weekend, and they're lucky to get away from it.
half-time at FC. 1-0 at half-time. Oh. Danny.
Welcome back to Gungahlin Enclosed here in Canberra for the PS4 MPL match between Gungahlin United and the FFA Centre of Excellence, live on Bar TV Sports. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator. Steve Forshaw from Gungahlin United is alongside me. Steve, at half-time, no goals, but we're hopeful of more action in the second half.
Well, if both teams have finished feeling themselves out, then we can expect that there'll be a more open game and chances will be created at both ends. And if we can get a repeat of the first round fixture when it finished 4-2, then we'll have had a good afternoon out.
Well, no changes from either side, looks like, in the second half. So the Gungahlin will start with Jason Denham in goal, Osman Daramy, Jack Green, Regan Walsh and Tom Kirklich across the back four. Their midfield three of Anthony Timotheu, Anthony Georgi and Misko Namoski, Yusuf Mohammed, Jason Edouard and Michael Ronaldo up front. For the FFA Centre of Excellence, Jordan Griffiths in goal, Jeremy Saint, Kai Truin, Patrick Skibilio and James Fletcher across the back four. Jay Barnett, Lewis Dorigo and Meled Ahmed, their midfield three. Ben Obst, Mirza Muratovic and Lachlan Brooks. Up front, Luke Whittle, the referee, gets us underway in the second half. Gungahlin in the yellow shirts and the black shorts attacking the goal to our right, the car park end, as I like to call it here. And you'll be hoping for a little bit more goalmouth action, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the game last night between Belconnen and Tuggeranong, where Sean Murphy's Tuggeranong team went down 2-1, and it was a game where there was plenty of action all across the park. It was really worth watching. This one needs to live up to that billing.
Let's see if we can start the second half on the front foot. Here's Brooks. That's a good strong challenge by Jack Green. He looks to slide that towards O'Dwyer, but Skibilio has had a good battle with Jason O'Dwyer this afternoon. On is pretty much even there between that pair. Here's Griffiths. Lifts that one over the head of Ronaldo to Saint. And Truin has time to measure his ball forward. Here's Obst. And challenged by Georgie, and he gives away a free kick. Yeah, you mentioned that Tuggeranong United result. They wouldn't have been too happy with going down there. Sean Murphy would have been a bit disappointed with his team's performance.
I think he was disappointed in a number of elements of what went last night, but certainly the result didn't do him any favours. But Belconnen won all three grades yesterday, so the club was delighted with the performance of the teams.
They're good for Belconnen, always been pretty strong in those junior grades as well. Tuggeranong not out of the picture, as we mentioned, for the top 4 and final football. The first time for a long, long time that will be for Tuggeranong making the top 4. Here's Daramy looking for Gungahlin own way forward so they can get the points to keep their pressure up at the top of the table too. Here's Georgie. Kirkledge. Pass was a bit heavy, but he's managed to snap back into the challenge with Saints, who wins the throw. No real change of formation, it doesn't look like, at the start of the second half, although Ronaldo's back on the same side as Jeremy Saints, which means that Ben Obst will be charged with following Yusuf Mohammed.
Yeah, they've gone back to how they started, giving Ronaldo another run down the right-hand side. He had some joy down there, didn't he, at the start of the first half, so they'll be looking to replicate that.
And James Fletcher, the other fullback, I should say, out on that far-hand side, the other Canberra boy, and he's going to get the ball right now. And Mohammed goes to close him down and concedes a free kick, you'd think. But the referee lets it go as Fletcher gets past a second challenge, but good advantage there by Withell. And the centre of excellence get moving pretty quickly again. Here's Trewin. Obst. Gets away from Kirkledge, still going Ben Obst. But Regan Walsh has come in to win the ball and just thrash that one up the field towards halfway. It's been the story of the game pretty much at the moment. Chances for both teams to get into attacking positions and then maybe just overrunning it a little.
Yeah, I think a little bit of control possession and rather than just catapult the ball forward, and will serve both teams well.
You don't want to be catapulting it forward too much unless it's a very accurate one. Here's Mohammed. That's a bit short. And here's a chance for Brooks. And he's going to win a corner. Daramy shadowed him pretty well there. The half-time scores in the other games were Canberra FC 1, Monera Panthers 0. Kofi Danning's goal there. Canberra Olympic 2, Woden Western 0. Bobolas and Dominici with the goals at O'Connor enclosed. So the two match results we expected and the one here that perhaps we didn't. FFA Centre of Excellence still can't break down Gungahlin, 0-0. Centre of Excellence started the day in second place. That's towards the far post, not cleared by Green. Just going to bounce to this near side, and Melad Ahmed has to go back all the way to Jordan Griffiths, or Fletcher rather goes back to Jordan Griffiths. His Saint. Now Trewin. Clips it forward, and Obst does well to bring that one down. Excellent control by Ben Obst. Now here's Ahmed. Obst again. Better build up this by the centre of excellence, but as I say that, Jack Green comes across to win it, but loses out again. And this is a bit scrappy. And in the end, Green brings it away. Dwyer just ducks under it, and there's space for Ronaldo. Can he run at Trewin, who does well and plays that one off of Ronaldo, and good defending by young Kai Trewin.
Look, young Kirkledge has done well at fullback here, and he's just got to be a little careful that he doesn't get caught wrong side of Benny Obst, because Benny Obst is capable of actually creating for the centre of excellence. He just got caught out a little bit on that last move forward.
And plucked it out of the air very well. Here is Kirkledge. It's a bit loose in the middle of the park, but Timotheo tidies it up to Green. That's off Obst. And Georgie with him. And it's Ronaldo. All a bit lively at the start of the second half, a bit scrappy in possession. Still waiting for that one moment of magic which maybe will spark off this game. Here's O'Dwyer. Went close in the first half. Loses out to Obst. Now Barnett. Skibilio. Pressure up by Mohammed. Barnett gets it back though. And they've worked that one out quite well, and it's just lofted forward towards Brooks. But Green shows all his experience to go across and win that ball, and looks to find now Mosky, who's drifted to the left-hand side. Back there covering well with Skibilio. Chance in midfield perhaps for the FFA Centre of Excellence. Now Green's been turned for the first time in a game, and Brooks could keep this one in and cause problems. It's just going to roll out of play for him though.
Yeah, a wonderful moment from Jack Green. Good players find moments of serenity, don't they? And his composure on the ball is just fantastic. He did get caught out a little bit then, but no harm done.
The first time that we've seen it this afternoon. Defensively, Green and Walsh have done pretty well in the absence, as you said, of Jenkins in the first half, and Walsh usually plays in that midfield role with Timotheo and dictates the play from there, so they're missing him a little bit going forward, but his experience is very good and seems to have reined in that temper of his that he had in the early years.
Yeah, he's developing or he's matured into a very good player. He's played a lot of this season at right back. So if Jenkins was available, he might have been playing there, and Kirklich might have been moved a little bit further forward. But it wouldn't surprise me if they did make a change and pushed Regan into a midfield role.
Well, the clouds have definitely come in over here. It's got very overcast. It may rain before the end of the game. That might speed up this surface, which is very hard down there at the moment. Here's Barnett, who's been very impressive in that holding role. Here's Saint. Now Barnett again. Obst under pressure from Timotheo, who's going to get this one. If he can poke this wide, there's a chance perhaps for Mohammed, who takes it in his stride, but it's overhit slightly, and Skibilio has done what the FFA Centre of Excellence defenders have done all afternoon and read the danger very well and covered quickly.
Yeah, poor first touch, but the defenders did really well to get into position to cover, like you say.
So we're still hoping for the first goal. Here's Mohammed, and Barnett goes across with him. Worth reiterating that the table at the moment sees Canberra Olympic on 37 points if they win today. Canberra FC would go up to 27. That would leave them in 4th, which would mean that Tigers on 24, Gungahlin on 23 if it stays this way, and Tuggeranong on 22, all still in that dogfight. Yeah,
it makes for a really interesting end to the season, doesn't it?
Well, that could change if this goes according to plan for Gungahlin, but the flag's up again. Marcel Munoz has sent his substitutes to warm up. Amongst them today we've got Augustine Bangura, Frano Blazovic, Jamie Vienkum and Hayden Tai. So Bangura's a midfielder, so is Vienkum. We got Tai and Blazovic are forward options. Here's Georgie. Green towards O'Dwyer, who gets there. And Skibilio stuck to him very well all afternoon and wins that part of the duel. Here's Dorigo. It's a timely interception by Timotheo because Obst was free down this near side, and now Ben Obst is going to have to get back and help out his defence, although the pass this time from Kirklich is slightly under hit and Jeremy Saint came across to cover. Forward options that we said there, Steve, Hayden Tai and Frano Blazovic, and Frano Blazovic would offer a different outlet for them.
Oh yeah, it would. I think it would require a change in style. The Frano, big strong number 9, and you would probably expect them to play a little bit more direct and get it into him early, or at least look to get into wide areas and sling the ball into the box.
For the FFA Centre of Excellence, their substitutes are Charlie Mavros, Cameron O'Doherty and Luke Callan, so 2 defenders and a forward there. A little bit short, of course, having a couple of players off on international duty. Here's Obst, just getting after this one. And at the end of this season, of course, Steve, these boys won't be around anymore. We'll come back to that in just a second, as O'Dwyer has it. Plucked off his toes by Barnett. And space perhaps for Brooks, if he can get after this. Daramy's gone across with him. Brooks has got a crossing opportunity here, edge of the air. Lots of space for Ben Obst to shoot, but he's not caught hold of that, and it's dragged wide of goal. So this will be the end of the FFA Centre of Excellence at the end of this year, Steve. And in some ways, I guess that's a pat on the back for the A-League clubs for getting their academies in order.
Yeah, I guess a somewhat controversial decision by the FFA to close down the program. It has had, in the past, a lot of success. But I think over the last few years, as the A-League and the Youth League have sort of matured, it's become incumbent upon the A-League clubs to develop youth. And clearly, you have a situation, if you have academies at 10 A-League teams, where you can develop more young players than you can through a centralised program. So in some ways, you can understand why the decision's been made. For those involved, of course, it doesn't make it any easier, but it does create an incentive for these young lads to do well in their last season in Canberra.
And they are doing that. They're still in touch, as we say, at the top of the table. Of course, they'll be 8 points behind if this one finishes as it is, and Olympic stay 2-0 ahead. They would have a game in hand, but that would be difficult for them to catch up, you'd expect. Here's Saint. Obst goes back to Trewin. You talk about players who look like they've got serenity and time on the ball, and Kai Trun is definitely one of those.
Yeah, you can see why he's impressed the staff at the Centre of Excellence. He's looked very good on the ball. His defending's been excellent. His passing's been good. He looks to have the makings of a really, really decent player.
His Saint, now Obst. Barnett goes back to Trun. Plenty of time for him on the ball, but no real movement ahead of him again, and everyone was picked up, so he has to go back to the goalkeeper Griffiths. Matthew Sutton's on the bench, the other goalkeeper today for the FFA Centre of Excellence. He's picked out Muratovic there, whether by accident or design. It was still a good ball. Here's Trun. Now Saint. Ronaldo covers him this time, but the ball down the line finds Obst. The flag stays down. Chance for Obst to pull it back into the top of the area, and they've got to be careful here. It's going to drop for James Fletcher onto that right foot into the box, and Green just says that's enough and gets rid of it. But heart-to-mouth moment there for a moment for Gungahlin.
Yeah, they looked to get a little bit confused at the back, and then the perfectly positioned Mr. Green was there to clear up the damage.
And there he is again, just shrugging off the challenge and winning the ball to Timotheo, who spreads that one forward. Now here's a chance for Mohamed, and he's got Ronaldo ahead of him. Trun's gone across to Shadow, but Ronaldo gets the better of him on this occasion. That's a great ball in. Great chance for O'Dwyer to head it, and he scores on the far post. Jason O'Dwyer comes in and nods it in goalwards. Simple finish in the end for the striker, but fantastic work from Michael Ronaldo to get away, and O'Dwyer still had the job to do, and he put it in the net. It's Gungahlin 1, the FFA Centre of Excellence 0.
You put it down to Mickey Ronaldo. He opened his legs up, he's turned his defender, he's got a wonderful cross in, and as you say, Jason O'Dwyer had a lot to do, but did it with aplomb.
He just nodded it in nonchalantly in the end. He just nodded it downwards, and Griffiths tried to get across and couldn't get there, and it's in the net, and that's a big goal for Gungahlin United, a massive goal for them, and also has ramifications around the league as well. It's one that Tuggeranong United wouldn't want to see, and it's probably one that Tigers wouldn't want to see either, but it's something that the FFA need to respond to now. We've got half an hour or so to go, and it's the first goal of the afternoon, and probably warmed up the people in the stands. Many of them with a Gungahlin persuasion, of course. But here's the FFA, it's 3-on-3 if they can get this right. But again, the pass is a little bit short, and Walsh and Green between them get rid of it. Here's Mohamed. Now Georgie. Now Kirkledge. And the run is Ronaldo again. He'd be full of confidence after that trick, setting up the goal a moment ago, and took on his man. And you can just see noticeably it's lifted Gungahlin a little bit, that goal. They don't want to get too complacent though, and as they fly in there, and here's a chance for the FFA Centre of Excellence on the break with Dorigo, and that's a yellow card coming, I would think. A little nick there from Nomoski. If he gets away with this one, he's a lucky boy.
Yeah, it has to be a yellow. I mean, it's a yellow in anybody's book. I mean, cynical, closing. It's a foul to slow them down when they were breaking. They had numbers forward. Luke's been really generous.
Yeah, very lenient from Luke Wilwell there. I would have thought that's a yellow card any day of the week, just to break down that attack. Here's Saint. Not one for giving out yellow cards if it can be helped, Steve, but that was a definite yellow card in my book. As Daramy just thumps that one forward, and O'Dwyer will get after it, and Trun's going to have to be careful here. He goes back to Griffiths, and fair play to Jason O'Dwyer. You've got to say his industry and his work rate, he deserved that goal.
Absolutely. I mean, on effort alone, he's he's sort of driven Gungahlin forward. His position in the box for the cross was spot on. He got in between the two defenders. So it shows he's got just a work rate, but he's got a little bit of football intelligence too.
I think if you watch a replay of that, you can see as soon as that cross comes in, his marker, I think on this occasion was Trun, knew straight away that he was in trouble, that he'd got goal side of him and in a good position, and the cross was pinpoint accurate, straight onto the head of O'Dwyer, who, as I mentioned, looked simple, but still had work to do, and art of a good goal scorer is always to make the hard ones look simple.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on a striker, isn't there, to put those chances away, and you see a lot of them miss, but he finished with the quality it deserved.
And it's opened the deadlock, broken the deadlock here. Here's Saint. Ahmed just rolls the challenge to Timotheo, and it's Barnett who's got it now. Ahmed has it back, and there's runners ahead of him, and if this ball is good in behind, Daramy needs to be careful, and he slides in brilliantly to win it, and Green will complete the clearance up towards Ronaldo. Easily won by Skibilio though, and here's Saint again. He's getting a lot of ball, Jeremy Saint, on this side. Hasn't been able to influence the game too much with it at the moment, but if that keeps going on, you mind. There's Obst. Getting it back here, Ben Obst. still going, and Daramy once again wins the ball, and Gungahlin looking for a free kick. Mickey Ronaldo not happy, and a bit of a shove there by Namoski on the back of Skibilio, and this time he's going to get a yellow card, and considering what happened 2 minutes ago, Steve, very, very, very lucky boy.
Yeah, he could have been coming up here and watching the game from the stands. He is indeed very lucky.
You'd expect someone with a bit more experience to show a little bit more self-control there. First substitution we're going to see here is Augustine Bangura coming on into a midfield role for Marco Ronaldo. Ronaldo setting up that goal, worked really hard as well. He's run the fullbacks as well as he could for most of the day, and whilst we had a chat about him not tracking back too much in the first half, he can deliver crosses like that. Marcel Munoz won't be too disappointed.
No, I mean, that's what he's in the team for. It's his attacking prowess that they pick him for. He's recently come back from a hamstring injury, so he's probably just run out of a bit of some legs. So a good change from Marcel Munoz.
As I've said before, he can score goals as well. Marco Ronaldo, he's been banging them in the junior grades for a number of years, so this is an opportunity, and that's an overhit back pass, and Griffiths has to do well there for a minute there. Barnett's back pass looked like it was going to cause Griffiths all sorts of trouble. I was saying about Ronaldo, he does score goals in the lower grades, and it's a good step up to this MPL for him, and I'm sure the goals will come if he keeps putting in the effort. That one's given away to Bangura. First chance to see him, and there's an opportunity to run. He's got Kirklich coming up outside, and Bangura, it's opened up for him on the left foot. Bangura strikes it into the bottom corner. He's only been on the field a matter of minutes. It was his first touch of the ball. What a substitution that is, and he's super happy as he runs down here to be congratulated by Marcel Munoz. The defence backed off, and he didn't need second invitation. Lashes into the bottom corner. It's Gungahlin 2, FFA Centre of Excellence 0.
I told you it was a good change, that one. He's done a Palombi. He's got a good change in there. It's a fantastic result. I mean, the boy's done really well. He got a great run outside him on the overlap. Stayed calm. Tucked inside, left foot, bottom corner, great finish.
Yeah, beautiful finish, and as a response from the FFA Centre of Excellence is to bring off Ben Obst, who's worked hard down this left-hand side, and bring on Charlie Mavros, who's an out-and-out 9, and he'll go into the middle of the field, and Mirza Maratovic, who we know has got bags of pace and trickery down on this near side, he can certainly see if they can get them back in this. And even with 26 minutes to go, it's 2-0 to Gungahlin. You wouldn't say this one's done and dusted just yet. We're getting the goals that we've wanted, but the FFA Centre of Excellence still have a lot left in the tank.
Yeah, I think the way the game panned out, where it was a bit scrappy and it was a bit of a battle, suited Gungahlin, and now, of course, they've got a couple of goals up. They're in pole position, and it'll be their own fault if they can't get the 3 points from here. But you can't write the Centre of Excellence off.
And here they come, looking to get back into it, and here's a bit of a break on this far side. It's going to be Fletcher. He's going to struggle to keep that one in there. The ball from Brooks was asking a lot from the fullback, who looks a bit tired at the moment. He's done a lot of work up and down that right flank as James Fletcher. Maybe a change we'll see at some stage. You've got Luke Cannon and Cameron O'Doherty who can go out there if they need to. And one of them are warming up. They're both warming up in front of us in the stand at the moment. So quick-fire goals from Jason O'Dwyer and Augustine Bangura have put Gungahlin United in control here with 25 minutes to go. We're wondering where the goals were going to come from, and they've come along in quick succession. Denham sends out one forward, flicked on by O'Dwyer. And that's all the way back to Griffiths. We mentioned beforehand, Steve, surprise results in the under-18s and under-20s somewhat, and this is a surprise one, I guess, as well.
Well, so far it is, yeah. I think most people would have had the Centre of Excellence, including myself, as favourites for this. But Gungahlin have earned it. They've done really well, and nobody can complain that they're in front.
There's Maratovic, the first time we got to see him down the wing, but Daramy defended well. And here's Bangura, flicks it away from his man. Space in the middle of the park if he can find Namoski. Comes back instead to Georgie, and he goes back to Walsh. And they'll look for their more experienced players now to show a bit of composure. As O'Dwyer flicks that one on, but Bangura can't get over it. And far more experienced group, of course, this Gungahlin one than the FFA Centre of Excellence, and they'll look to Green and Walsh and Namoski to settle things now that they have the game in hand with 23 minutes or so to go. Here's a chance for Saint to bring it forward. Now Maratovic back to Saint. Control not good enough though, and Georgie wins it. Timotheo, who's done well, just nutmegs Saint there, finds Georgie.
This is what they've got to be careful of, that they don't go too far in the shell. The last couple of times that Anthony Giorgio's had it, he's tried to play conservatively. I think he's got to keep them going forward. I mean, they'll be expecting that from a creative player like himself.
The floodlights have come on here. They're kind of warming up. It's very dark. And at the moment, it's not looking very bright for the FFA Centre of Excellence. They're going to be falling behind Canberra Olympic at the top of the table here and opening up the chance for Belconnen to maybe sneak into second place should results go the way. And there's another one away from Griffiths towards Saint. This would pretty much secure, you think, the league championship for Canberra Olympic if the game finishes this way. And another goal at Deakin, and it's Canberra FC 2, Monero Panthers 0. That's a big goal for them as well. That puts them up into the top 4, into a good position up there as well, and starts to leave Tuggeranong and the Tigers looking a little bit in peril. Still 3 rounds to go as well, Steve. So it's going to be the first time in a long time that we've had such a good race for the top 4.
Absolutely, 9 points to play for, and 6 or 7 teams still vying for semi-final spots. It's what you look for with a series or with a competition that doesn't have relegation. You want something to play for at the end of the year.
And I understand our live offering next week will be on a Saturday evening from Greenway. Nice warm Greenway at 7:50 on a Saturday night. Should be great. I think it's Tuggeranong and Monero Panthers, I believe.
Well, that should be a good game. I mean, obviously, the game on Wednesday night, if it goes ahead between Tuggeranong and Centre of Excellence, gives Tuggeranong an opportunity to try and pick up 3 points after last night's loss. And they'll fancy themselves against Monero, and it keeps them in the hunt.
Yeah, absolutely, we'll confirm that for you later in the week, but I think that's going to be our live offering next week. So change of day, several more layers of clothing for the commentary team. It will be freezing cold down at Greenway. It's normally cold at Greenway anyway. Cameron O'Doherty is coming on for the Centre of Excellence, young defender. Should be a like-for-like swap on that far-hand side. Gungahlin won't be too disappointed though. And just to go around the grounds, and it's 2-0 in every game. It's Canberra FC 2, Monero Panthers 0, Gungahlin 2-0 here, and of course Olympic 2-0 against Woden Western. That's Lachlan Brooks that's come off for O'Doherty. He's put in a good shift today, Lachlan Brooks, and something different for Mohammed to deal with. Mavros tried to get a touch there, and that was just smashed out of the ground, and why not at this stage?
Yeah, I think it's the sensible tactic that they've employed today is to make it a battle, play for bits, slow the game down where they can, and it's worked a treat.
And Fletcher tried to get on the end of that throw, but it's going to beat him to it. Gungahlin leading, thanks to the goals from Jason Adois on Augustin Bangura. You love that as a coach, don't you, Steve? You check on a substitute and within seconds he bangs it in and you look like an absolute genius.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't make substitutions unless you think somebody's going to affect the game. And you're hoping that it'll be a positive impact. You don't get much more positive than that, boys.
Yeah, a super finish from Bangura as well. I think from the FFA Centre of Excellence point of view, they'll be disappointed with the defending to allow him to cut in field and getting onto that left foot. And when he got there, though, he needed a finish. And boy, he gave us one with a thumping drive below into the corner past Griffiths. Here's Ahmed, bundled off the ball. And here's O'Doherty, first touch for him, and he'll get a throw in. So under 20 minutes for them to try and find something here. And we're hearing at O'Connor that it's going to be difficult for Woden Western as they've been reduced to 10 with 90 minutes to go. A red card there. So Canberra Olympic look set for the spoils. Good result for them on the back of a long travel to Perth in midweek. Griffiths is going to get hold of this one. Now here's Truin. Pressured by Bangura, but back to Griffiths. That's just what Frank Casey would want, isn't it? On the back of a trip to Western Australia and back again. Disappointment there, but to get the 3 points today in what looks like a fairly routine and comfortable way.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think Frank's comments after the loss in Perth were that the bread and butter is the local Premier League. So he'd be looking for a bit of a bounce back from the team, and they've delivered again.
Here's Saint. Now Dorigo. Saint again. Kirkledge is stuck to his task manfully back there with Saint overlapping, and the other runners he's had to deal with. Here's Dorigo. Back to Truin, who's had a great game at the back there for the FFA Centre of Excellence. Arguably doesn't deserve to be on the wrong end of this scoreline. Mavros will look to put pressure on, but in the end, Walsh and Green once again combined. Bangura, lovely chest control to put it into the path of Timotheo, and Bangura again. He's going to get a free kick, has he? No. Well, it said the ball must have got a touch on the ball there, which looks a little bit unlikely. Here's Barnett. Good switch from Dorigo, and that's going to find Truan, who's advanced forward. Chance perhaps for Mirza Muratovic to run at the defence. He's jigging this way and that, getting it onto that left foot. Opportunity to pull it back towards Mavros, but once again, Green is there, and Georgie completes the clearance. Not once, but twice. Mohammed takes it in his stride, but across comes Skibilio, who once again does really well. And Fletcher onto the right foot, drives it goalward, and it's straight into the back of Jack Green once again. Here's Fletcher once more there, and Green's out there just to see him out. And great performance from Jack Green this afternoon. He's been the heart and soul of what Gungahlin have put together.
Absolutely. I mean, I should imagine that the Centre of Excellence think there must be about 6 of him. Everywhere they've gone, he's managed to get a block in, a clearance in, a header in. He's been immense, absolutely immense. The one thing that has really been impressive, though, is that the work rate of Gungahlin has been absolutely phenomenal. And it's put them in a position where they can pick up the 3 points.
Well, the man who opened the scoring, Jason O'Dwyer, has come off to be replaced by Frano Blažević. Big Frano Blažević, a big target, and it'll be a different kind of challenge there for Kai Truan at the back. A physical one as well. Not slow either, really, Frano, when he gets into his stride. I mean, it takes him a while to get in there, but once he does, he does eat up the ground with those big strides of his.
Yeah, he can cover the ground, there's no doubt about it. It's interesting to see what they do now, whether they actually play a little bit more direct and try and get it into him early. I would have thought the way they've worked, it might have been a midfield change, but, you know, Marcel's gone with a change up front. And O'Dwyer has run himself into the ground, there's no doubt about it. But interesting to see whether they change their style.
Well, they've got 16 and a half minutes left to see if they can hold on to this, which will give them a huge incentive in that push for the top 4. Here is Blažević with his first touch, looking to take on Skibilio, and he's going to win a corner, so he can't ask much more than that from a start. At the start of the game, Steve, I spoke to Marcel Munoz, and he did say this was possibly their last chance. They had to win today if they were going to keep their top 4 hopes alive.
Yeah, and he's right, and it's a correct assessment. And obviously the game plan they've devised has worked for them, and they're well and truly back in the hunt. This is where Frano could be dangerous. Get the ball into the area against these young boys that are not particularly good defending at set pieces. So this is a real opportunity for Gungahlin.
Georgie swings it in towards her. Griffiths comes to punch and gets good 2 fists on it, but it's only on the edge of the area, and it's going to break for perhaps Timotheu. But in the end, the FFA smuggle it clear. And here's a chance on the break and a real opportunity as Mavros brings it forward. Sorry, I apologise. That was Fletcher once again, I think, who's putting in a massive shift. And again, it's O'Doherty, the replacement, in fact, and he's got the ball again. Gives it away. That's a good challenge in the middle of the park. And Bangira's got space if he can keep it in play. He'll go at Saint. Here's Georgie. Timotheu clips the ball over the top. A lovely looking ball to Mohammed, and no Doherty's back there though to take it off his toe, but it's going to break for Blažević in the air. Real chance here, and great piece of defending by Truan to stick a knee out as the shot comes in from distance from Daramy, but that one's going to go out for a throw-in rather than tempt the keeper. And Blažević there, a bit slow on the uptake on the turn there, Steve. Probably just come on, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Certainly not the impact that the other boy had when he came on. Got into a good spot. Again, it's all about endeavour. They persevered, they worked hard, and he really should have done better, and here's a chance again.
As Namoski went tracing through, but Griffiths had it under control, and he bowls it out underarm, and off come the FFA Centre of Excellence with Dorigo pushing that one forward, and Fletcher's got on his bike again on that right-hand side, but Daramy's not giving him a moment's peace when he's been out there, and that's been a great battle all afternoon, and 2 nuggety sort of players who love to get involved in the physical part of it, and on that occasion Daramy wins it. And Mohammed couldn't quite keep that one in. Here's Dorigo. Now Ahmed tries to slide that one through, but he's overhit it. Yusuf Mohammed's done well, hasn't he, for a younger boy? He's come into the setup here, and another one, I guess, who's been through the youth ranks and scored a lot of goals for Gungahlin in the youth ranks, and he's put in a good shift today. Yeah,
you wouldn't say anybody's been outstanding, but you would say that everybody's put in a shift. I think I agree with your assessment completely. They've worked hard for each other. When they've had to make tackles, they've got a foot in. The sheer endeavour, the sheer force of will that they've imposed on this game makes them worthy of a 2-0 sort of result at this stage. But they're just in danger of being overrun as the centre of excellence starts trying to place forward, trying to get back into the game.
Well, you're watching Bar TV Sports, live coverage of the PS4 MPO in Canberra, where it's Gungahlin United 2, the FFA Centre of Excellence 0. As we approach the final 3 rounds of the season here, here's Griffiths before we get into finals football. It's touched towards O'Doherty, and Daramy wins it. Slides that one into the channel, but Griffiths is going to come across and get it. You think the points are safe over at Deakin. It's now Canberra FC 3, Monero Panthers 0, with about 17 minutes to go, so that one's done and dusted as well, you'd think. And of course, with Canberra Olympic leading Woden Western 2-0 and Woden having a player sent off, that one's looking good for Olympic as well. Here's Bangura, whose goal has Gungahlin looking set fair for the points. They'd like another one before the end if they can, though. And Bangura looking to supply it towards Blazevic, whose header creeping just wide of goal. Had Griffiths scrambling across his toes. Nice little glancing header from Blazevic and just off target.
Appropriate tactic to use with the big boy up front. Get it into wide areas and see if you can get quality into the box. Nearly paid off straight away.
Yeah, Griffiths initially looked like he had that one covered, and then he was left scrambling, as it was eking its way towards the corner. In the end, it was harmless. Here is Bangura, who supplied the cross. Georgie to Blazevic. Nice touch from Blazevic. Keeps possession to Namoski, asking Daramy to get forward, and Fletcher defending Daramy on this occasion. Back to Namoski. Daramy again. Timotheo. And now space for Namoski to perhaps deliver into the penalty. It goes towards the front post where Blazevic gets there, but the touch was way too heavy. And Skibilio backing himself to try and get it out of the corner. Here's Barnett. And that's come off the back of the head of Fletcher, and will be a throw-in to Gungahlin as we approach the final 10 minutes of the game. And can you see a way back into this for the Centre of Excellence?
I wouldn't write them off just yet. They've certainly got enough quality in them to get back into it. They're struggling to create much at the moment, and like I was talking about earlier on, the work rate in terms of pressing in high areas hasn't faltered at all from Gungahlin. So it's going to be difficult, but not impossible.
Well, is O'Doherty? They'll need to get one back sooner rather than later, though, if they're going to get something from this game. Here's Barnett looking to go forward towards Mavros. But after initially winning it, gets a free kick for an unfortunate handball by Daramy.
Who has been excellent. He's had a really, really strong game at left back.
Yeah, the whole back four, to be fair, of Gungahlin looked really good today. They've not been overly troubled by what the FFA have had to offer them. Here's Truin, who at the other end, him and Skibilio have done a good job too for the FFA. I say that as Skibilio loses possession, here's a chance for Mohammed, but that's asking a lot for someone to chase in the 80th minute of the match. So 2-0 the score. Can the FFA Centre of Excellence keep their championship hopes alive by getting this one back? They need to turn it around completely, you'd think. That would be 3 goals in 10 minutes. It would be a remarkable finish if they could do it. It's not beyond the realms of possibility, though, Steve. We saw an incredible FFA Cup game down in Victoria the other week, where South Melbourne overturned a 4-1 deficit to win 5-4 with 7 minutes to play. So there's standards around the world have been set.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's only a matter of seconds to score a goal. So 10 minutes is plenty of time. It's just whether you're actually playing well enough to create those chances. And at the moment, the Centre of Excellence are just struggling a bit. Can't hold possession and are not doing enough in the front third to actually trouble Gungahlin.
Well, Namoski has it in the centre circle. Here's Mohammed. Daramy's made a good forward run, and Fletcher's going to have to get back to help defend here. It's going to break for Georgie. 3 white shirts around him, but he's still going, Anthony Georgie, into the penalty area, but the 4th one takes it off him and brings it forward. Here's Maratovic. And the challenge on Ahmed, once again by Green, who just brings it forward to Georgie. Now Blazevic. He tried to feed Green, who had made the run forward, and he was in on the area if he needed to be. And in the end, that was good defending. And another goal at O'Connor Enclosed. It's Canberra Olympic now 3, Woden Western FC 0. So the points secure there for Canberra Olympic, who take another giant stride towards the league championship. Dominic Giampaolo was the 3rd goal scorer for Canberra FC, and the 2nd goal was an own goal against Monero Panthers. So they're comfortably 3-0 up, and Olympic comfortably 3-0 up as well. Here's Ahmed. Barnett. Chance for Fletcher. They won't give up here, the FFA Centre of Excellence. They'll feel they can get something out of it, but unfortunately for James Fletcher, looked a bit tired as he tried to keep that one in and stumbled over the ball, and he's put in a fair few doggies in there, and they've been fairly lengthy ones as well, Steve.
Yeah, he has. He's worked really hard. But there's some tired players out here at the moment. The Gungahlin midfield are just dragging their legs a little bit. And it's an opportunity, I guess, for the young fit boys to take advantage of if they can keep possession for 3 or 4 passes and just get a little bit of control in the game. We
mentioned before that the league table will be a bit jammed at the top come the end of this evening. There's a change, the final one for the FFA Centre of Excellence. Luke Callan is going to come on, and it's James Fletcher, I think, who's run his race. He's worked really hard this afternoon, so Callan will go on as a like-for-like on the far side. And a bit of cramp there, I think, for Fletcher as well, or maybe twisted his ankle on the ball a little bit.
Canberra boys have done well. Obst, Fletcher and Trewin, they've all done pretty well. They've all put in a shift. Certainly can't be pointing the finger at the local boys and saying you've been largely responsible for the loss. It's just been Gungahlin that have done that little bit better.
Here's Maratovic. Timotheo comes across to win it. Bangira to Georgie, and it's a tired ball. Barnett, and there's another tired ball as well. And Kirklich goes back to Denham under pressure from Mavros, and he does well to just send it forward. And that was Georgie who hint of a handball. Ahmed. Dorigo tried to burst his way through, and it's going to break for Trewin. Blazovic is coming across to let him know that he's there. But he finds the room to find Saints. Now Maratovic again, but this time the ball defeats him, and it'll be a throw to Gungahlin. And time is running out for the FFA Centre of Excellence if they're to get their way back into this. Here's Maratovic. Gets it back off Mavros. Looked far more dangerous as a winger, hasn't he, Mirza Maratovic, than he did when he was playing as a 9? Yeah,
I think he's certainly got more of the ball. And he looks far more effective down this left-hand side than he was earlier in the game. But Walsh and Green have been absolutely immense at the back for Gungahlin.
Here's Bangira on Timotheo and Georgie exchanging passes. Overdid it a little bit there, and here's Barnett.
Got a fur Barnett as well, any Barnett.
Yeah, he's a mop of hair. He's pretty unmistakable in the middle of the park. That's a great piece of play from Yusuf Mohammed to Rob Skibilio, and he'll run forward into the space. He'll go at Trewin, who's backing off him at the moment, and Yusuf Mohammed is still going, but Kyle Trewin does well and should get a free kick as he pulls his shirt on him there. 5 minutes to go here. Gungahlin United 2, FFA Centre of Excellence 0. Makes you wonder though, Steve, when you talk about incidents in games, Miško Nomoski not getting a card for that little trip, and then the push at 1-0, the FFA could look at that and go, well, you know, they're down to 10 then, it may have made a bit of a difference.
Absolutely. I think Sean Murphy from Tuggeranong was saying in the media after the game last night that decisions can change games, and whether you agree with the decisions or not, depending on your point of view, they do. And Miško was extremely lucky to stay on the park. It may well not have affected the result, but it certainly would have affected the scoreline.
Yeah, all ifs, buts and maybes, but you look at turning points in games, and maybe that was one. But it'd be churlish to suggest, though, Steve, that Gungahlin haven't deserved this at the moment, because they're putting a good shift in, and they're 2-0 up. They've scored the goals when it matters, and they've looked fairly comfortable in possession too, and they've really struggling to think of a save of note that Jason Denham's had to make.
No, I think you're right. Their work rate, on effort alone, they deserve to be in front today. They've worked as hard as anybody can against a really, really good Centre of Excellence side that should be, in terms of fitness, stronger than Gungahlin. But the Gungahlin boys look to be finishing really well.
Here's Georgie to Mohammed. You've got to wonder, though, with some of these FFA boys in the second. Here's Timotheo gets it back again, but Skibilio does well. Nomoski, and that's asking a lot for Timotheo to chase. I was just going to say, Steve, it must be maybe difficult for these FFA boys not knowing what's going to happen to them at the end of the season as well. It might be preying on their mind a little bit. I'll get your thoughts on that after this attack. O'Doherty. They've done well there as Callan gets involved. And he gets it back again. Here's Callan once more, but Osman Darimi comes away with it. Saint's going to pick this one off. And here's Muratovic, a chance. It's 2-on-1, but he's not picked the right ball, and Kirklich has defended it well. Here's Muratovic again, though. Second bite of the cherry. Back to Trewin. Looking to get forward, gets it back, and that's a good ball as well. And that's well read once again by Jack Green. Goes without saying, I should say. Blažević. Here's Bangura. Maybe have gone forward there. And he's done a bit too much. And here's a chance for Doherty. And he's run into trouble again in the shape of Green. He's going to have to do well to get across to him on this second time, but he does and concedes a corner. What I was saying, Steve, about these boys, maybe it's preying on their mind a little bit?
Well, the uncertainty can't be helpful. I know people will say that sooner or later the program for these guys finishes and they would have to go and look for other clubs, but I'm not sure they were expecting it to come under the circumstances that it has. So, yeah, the uncertainty might be a little bit of a distraction for them. Once the decision had been made, I thought that they sort of kicked up a gear and it became an incentive to do well. But maybe as the season's worn on, it's just become a little bit too much.
Ball's bouncing around the area. They're looking for a goal at the moment. I'm sure that most of these guys won't struggle for a club, though. There's some good talent out there, and they're all very young. Here's Blažević looking to take on his man and wins the throw, or does he? No, it's come off Blažević last. Another goal at Deakin. It's all definitely all over there now. Canberra FC 4, Monero Panthers 0. Yusuf Mohammed has come off. Don't have a number 90 on my team sheet, but I'm assuming that's Jamie Viencombe, maybe, that's come on in the middle of the park there. He's the only midfielder I've got left on the list, so by process of elimination, we'll go with that. For the last 2 minutes of the game, Mohammed worked really hard as well. In fact, you could say that about every single player in yellow today. Certainly not let their coach down. He wanted a performance from them, and they've given him one so far. Still 2 minutes to go, though, with stoppage time. Here's Trewin, and Viencombe's all over him, and concedes the free kick. But good energy from the youngster as soon as he's come on. Here's Walsh. And Georgie helps it on its way to Namoski. Now Green. Calm as you like, as usual, and then languid sweep of that left leg to get it out towards Bangura on this near side. Back to Timotheo, and to Namoski. That was a bit of a tired touch by Misko Namoski, but Timotheo gets it back. Now Walsh. He'll ask Bangura to chase the ball. It's a good ball too, and he's going to get there. Opportunity perhaps for Georgie in the area, swings it across. Blažević gets there and he can't divert it towards goal. Another nice move though from Gungahlin, and started at the back with your big fellas, Reagan Walsh and Jack Green, doing what they needed to do.
Absolutely. Like I said before, they've been two of the best players, two of the best performances in the game, not alone for Gungahlin. I mean, Jack's got a sweet left foot. Regan's just played a magnificent ball down the line. Great performance with the pair of them.
Blowing out at Deakin Stadium, where it's now Canberra FC 5, Monero Panthers 0. Good result that for Canberra FC. They needed that this afternoon, and not only that, it really does help their goal difference as Blažević chases after this and Griffiths is going to get it. The start of the day, Canberra FC were on a plus 16, so that pushes them up to plus 21. And with Tuggeranong, Gungahlin, Tigers and FC all milling around there, it could come to goal difference at the end, and that's a big scoreline for them. Tuggeranong will be looking at that next week to hope to try to match that, or at least get somewhere close, keep themselves in the running. Bangura, whose goal effectively settled this match. Trewin's done well to come across, and here's Griffiths again. Barnett tried to help it on its way, but it's only going to come as far as Timotheo, who could probably shoot from here. Instead, he tries to roll it to Viencombe. Georgie has it, and we're well into stoppage time. It's looking like Gungalin's day. We said at the beginning it would be something of an upset if they could get a result on the board, and looks like they're going to get one at the moment, unless something amazing happens in the last few seconds. And it's not going to happen while the ball's down in that corner. And they're going to win a corner out of it as well, so great play from Gungahlin.
the results. It's in the bag now for Gungahlin. It keeps them well in the hunt for a finals place. Marcel Munoz will be absolutely delighted, and got to say that they've earned it. They've been certainly the hardest working team, if not the best.
Well, can they ice the cake from this corner? It's swung in towards Blažević. He's going to beat them all. Green comes for it, and Griffiths shows that he's not asleep. Well, he's thrown it into the head of Green, and it bounced off Green, and it bounced off Saint, and it's actually turned out to be a decent ball to Muratovic. Another goal at O'Connor enclosed. Canberra Olympic 3 now, Woden Western 0. That one's done and dusted. And this one's almost done and dusted as well. There's Barnett. One last chance perhaps for FFA Centre of Excellence to get something on the board. Callan looks to bring it forward. Still going, Luke Callan, but nobody really giving them an option for him, and Daramy just plucks it off, but he's giving it away. Here's Muratovic, and his pass looked tired, and we're coming towards the end of it. It's a full time we're hearing now at O'Connor. It's Canberra Olympic 3, Woden Western 0. That one's done, so Canberra Olympic are going further clear at the top of the table, and one more giant step towards retaining the league championship that they won last year, and they are the team to beat this year again, you would think. But in saying that, if Gungahlin, Steve, can utilise the defensive skills of Green and Walsh, and we'll just break off for a second. There's a chance for Dorigo, but it's a good save from Denham. The first time he's been called into action really today, and he saves it with his feet off of Dorigo's left-footed shot. Here's Walsh away to Daramy. What I was going to say, Steve, is if they can get this back four ticking over nicely against those big sides, then they're going to be a difficult team to beat.
This result will give them a lot of confidence as well. They, with David Jenkins to come back into the side, Nicky Rathjen to come back into the side, they've got the quality in the squad that they can trouble the better teams in the NPL. Final whistle, 2-0, fully deserved. They'll be very happy with that.
Yeah, the final whistle goes. It was a difficult first half for both teams on a hard surface, and in the end, Gungahlin United have come away with it with the points. And Steve Marcel Munoz, as I mentioned before, said this was a must-win, and they've got that. They've got the 3 points, which shifts them on to 25. Canberra FC are going to be on 27. Looking at the table, Canberra Olympic will be on 37 at the top. The FFA Centre of Excellence on 28 will now be below Belconnen on 28 on goal difference. So Belconnen will go to second. Canberra FC will go to 27 in fourth. Gungahlin will be on 25 in fifth. Then Tigers on 24, Tuggeranong on 22. So plenty to play for over the next 3 weeks. And Gungahlin, with this result, have put themselves right back in the mix when you consider that the FFA Centre of Excellence can't make finals. Absolutely, absolutely. And if they can maintain that sort of effort and improve the quality of their play, even just a marginal piece, then they can be a threat. Not only to the top four, but if they get into it, to the teams that might fancy the chances of winning a grand final. I think Tuggeranong have still got a big part to play in it. I think Canberra FC, Gungahlin have also got big parts to play in the final makeup of the top four, or the positions they're in. I think Belconnen will be absolutely delighted that they're a genuine second place now. But today's all about Gungahlin, and Gungahlin have thoroughly deserved the 2-0 win on the back of Green and Walsh's performance, and you know the work rate of people like Dwyer in particular, and some inspired substitutions by Coach Munoz. Looking at the FFA Centre of Excellence team in defeat, great performances from Kai Truan and Patrick Scabilio in the centre of defence, magnificent industry from James Fletcher and Jeremy Saint down the wings, and Meled Ahmed caught my eye a bit in the middle of the park as well. Very good feat in the first half, faded a bit in the second half when Gungahlin took control, but plenty of positives from these FFA boys, lots of good talent there. Oh, no doubt about it. The young players that are in the program at the moment can really play. Hasn't been their day to day, but that happens sometimes with younger players. They get a little bit inconsistent. But as you say, there's one or two of them stood out today and looked like they can go on and play at a higher level. You would expect that most of them would play NPL or higher once they leave the program. So got to wish them all the best, but today wasn't their day. Thanks very much, Steve Forster, and good luck to Belconnen United for the rest of the season. That's it from the PS4 MPL here at Gungahlin enclosed. It's been a cold day, but not too bad in terms of conditions. It's not been a great day for the FFA Centre of Excellence, but it's been a good day for Gungahlin United. Goals from Jason O'Dwyer and Augustin Bangura have done for the Centre of Excellence. It's finished Gungahlin United 2, FFA Centre of Excellence 0.